Hello everyone and welcome to another Wavelength Wednesdays. My name is Waveney. I'm your host and every week I bring you tips and strategies geared towards connecting, inspiring and influencing you to being the best in your professional and your personal life. And welcome. And so we are in the new month of July and I am really excited about July. I see July this month as a month to really reset, as a month to really review, reset, and realign and get back on track, really, and turn 2020 around, at least my 2020 in my world. And so I thought that it would be great to share some tips on how you can do that. Now, we know we're going through this pandemic and things are not over yet. We have a choice. We have a choice, and we always have choices. We can either choose to get fearful, hide, think about all the things that went wrong, think about all the plans that we didn't get to achieve, or we can do something about it. Okay? We can do something about it. And I want to really encourage you and really challenge you to do that. If you've been looking at my channel for any length of time, you would realize that it's all about moving forward, it's all about up leveling, it's all about what you can do to get to the next level. And even in this pandemic, we can get to the next level and we will get to the next level. And so we've seen a lot of memes. I've seen a lot of memes and jokes, and you have, about canceling 2020. And we're not going to cancel 2020. We're not, because 2020 still has hope. 2020 still can give us the things that we want. Maybe we may need to tweak some things a bit, but we still can get successes from 2020. And I'm about to show you how and why. How. And if we stay focusing on how things could be different and how our plans, like many people you would hear saying, I wanted to do this, but 2020, but I'm sorry, not 2020, but COVID-19. I wanted to do Y, but COVID-19. And we can focus on that, or we can try to see how we can move forward. So let's get on the same wavelength. The first thing we have to do is use the data that we have. And we have data. So from January to June, we've had a lot of information. We've had a lot of things that have happened. We started the year fine. We had our goals. We had our intentions. COVID-19 happened. We had a big fat pause. And we have had time to reflect in all, the lockdowns, the stay-at-homes, the scheduled supermarket runs, not the curfews, all of that. There's information all in that. So what's the data? So some of the things that came out of those experiences for us is that we saw the true intentions of the persons around us. Some persons have friends and they would realize that these people whom they thought really had their back really didn't. They're selfish, they're whatever. There are some persons that really stepped up to the plate. So people really saw through their friendships. They really saw whether they were valuable or they were just not valuable. We also saw the companies that we work for. Many of us work for companies. Some stepped up to the plate. Some, in spite of the pandemic, they really tried to soften the blow. They really tried to show care. Other companies, they didn't show care. It's almost like they couldn't wait for this pandemic to happen, and then they're like, bye, see you, whatever. They didn't really show us that they appreciated, or valued our contribution. And so many of us went through that. Many of us would have realized, like myself, I didn't have the right balance between my work and my personal life. I wasn't exercising enough. And so when this happened and I was home, being home, I was so tired. I was tired. And I made a few commitments to myself. And this is what this period was all about. This review of this data that we had. Okay, some of us discovered our passions. We discovered that we really like decorating. We these long hidden dreams and passions inside us. Lots of us started cooking, you know, lots of us did that. And, you know, lots of us spent time with our families, and we realized that we were missing out. And so, the other thing too, many goals that we had, we would have realized that, hey, maybe it was a good thing that this COVID 19 happened, because then if I had done this, then this would have been the outcome. I would have been spending all this money, for example. Many of us made investments or spent the money or did that thing just in time, right? Many of us, we see prices have dropped, and so now we're able to purchase whatever. But aside from all that, overall, we have lots of information that we can use to propel ourselves forward. So we had that review from January to June. The next thing that we should be looking at is resetting. And how do we reset? How do we reset? So we have to be different, because the world is going to be different. And you know, many businesses now are online. Technology has increased at a rapid rate, and so all these things are going on. So the question is, what are you going to do differently? You can't be the same. What are you going to do differently? How are your goals going to be different? How are you going to use the information, all the things that you learn in the first part of the year? Because the dust is settling. The dust is settling. Even though COVID-19 is a real threat, it's still a threat. We could now see clearly there is still an element of uncertainty, but we kind of could figure out what or where, how we want to do things, right? And so you find what's happening in this period. People are opening new businesses. And even though it's born out of a need to survive, these are things and these are skills that people have, right? And so the creativity is there, okay? And they're using it as an opportunity. And so what are you going to do differently? How are you going to change and reset and tweak the goals that you had? How are you going to behave differently? How are you going to show up differently? You know, these are real questions that you have to answer, and you can still do something about it, because there is still time. So I would encourage you to really take this month and think about, how do you want to be moving forward? And then lastly, it's about realignment. It's about taking all that information. So taking the data that we got from January to June, all the uncertainty, everything that COVID-19 exposed and released and showed us, and then taking that information, taking our creativity, what we can do, what we want to change, merging them together, and coming up with a realignment, what we want to do moving forward. We can set new goals. There is no rule that says the goals that you set at the beginning of the year have to be the goals that follow through to the rest of the year. There is nothing that says that. As a matter of fact, I know a lot of people, myself included, I don't necessarily wait till the end of the year or in the middle of the year to set new goals. You can set new goals all the time. You can set new intentions all the time, right? So take those two bits of information, and then you want to set different goals and intention, and get back in the game, and get back on the train, the positive train, right? Because a lot of us, we could stay here, and I could say we could stay here and say, oh, what's gonna happen, this is gonna happen. But we have life, and once we have life, we have hope, and we have to move forward. I really believe that COVID-19 is an opportunity for us to elevate. It has shifted, it has shown us, it has exposed, it has released, and we have to use that with who we are and the information we have, and realign, get back on track, back out there. And so write new goals, look at them daily and weekly, and there is a way you write goals. So let's talk about SMART, the acronym. So SMART means you write it specific. It is specific. It is not vague. It is not like, I want to save some money. It's more like, I want to save $1,000 every month. I want to save $20 every month, you know, for example. So your goal have to be specific. It has to be measurable. How do you know you've achieved that goal? How do you know? So you have to find a way to measure it. And it doesn't have to be grand. I'm not a fan of big and complex. I'm a fan of simple and impactful. Okay? So specific, measurable, actionable, right? Or achievable. I'm sorry, achievable, right? It has to be something that you're able to do, right? Then you have realistic, okay? It has to be realistic. It has to be almost synonymous with achievable. It has to be realistic, and you have to set a time frame to it, okay? Otherwise it'll go on and on and on. And so I really hope that, you know, what I've said really inspires you to get back in the game, get back into the game, and stop listening to the news so much. Listen, and I'm saying this because I know that listening to all this news that's coming in about COVID-19 tends to paralyze us, as if we don't have enough things to worry about. Really filter how much news of the media you listen to. Listen enough to be informed, but just manage how you do that. And so thank you for tuning in. I really hope that, you know, you've enjoyed this little video. If you want to be coached by me, send me an email at hellowaveney@thepeople'sbrand.com, or send me a WhatsApp at 663-3356. I'd love to hear from you, and share this video, hit subscribe, and I will see you next week.